Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Australian report, but I'd like to start with the S&P 500 as it's one of the drivers with the Nasdaq and so on. And the European market's a bit the same as well. We've still got a little bit more upside to do, and that will carry through into the, not all the Asian markets, but Australia for sure. So with this market here, we're looking, if I go to wave 3 here, well, I can remove this wave 4 here because we had that as a bit of a contentious sort of debate there, but wave 3, an A and a B and a C for wave 4, and now we're looking for wave 5 to go up to roughly the 2700 area through here. I always like this number here, the 2720 as well here, so we'll bear that in mind, and this will also be for the Australian market as well, where we're looking at 6100 here, but 6200 here. The 62 is really important as well because the 62 is actually very close in terms of numbers to 61.8. So in geometry terms, that 62 becomes very important. We'll look at that in a moment. But here we're looking at 1 and 2 and 3. We're looking for wave 4 pullback, and now we're looking for wave 5 to move a little bit higher here. We've got wave 1 and 2 in here. We'll look for the top of wave 3. It'll be 4 and 5 moving up here a little bit higher. So for the Australian market here, just on the daily chart here, one of the things, I just want to go back over one of the problems that we've been sorting through is that I was never quite sure where this low was finished because the cash market or the physical market had different pattern to the futures and, well, CFD market. So yeah, we had wave 4 here and also possibly wave 4 here as well, but I've been looking at it, the dominant part of it now would be with wave 4 here, with wave 1 and 2 here, and wave 3, an A and a B and a C for wave 4, and going up for wave 5 here. So this would finish pretty much in line with the S&P 500 here. The only other mistake that I could possibly make in here, I don't think it is, but it's good to, that's what the videos are for, to explore possibilities and so on. So it could be possible that this wave 4 is actually in here, and we have this as 1 and 2 and 3 up to here, then wave 4, and then wave 5 up to 62 here. It's possible, but for the time being we'll go with this, and we're going to work this market in line with the European markets and also the US markets as well. So we're looking for a move close to the 61 here. 100 is a very strong number, so it's going to stall into the markets, and we're coming into the Christmas break as well, so volume could be lower. We've seen some volume come out of the ASX as well, and in terms of patterns as well, it's working very well with the classic trading levels pattern, which is the arrival, the reaction from a level, then the first high above the level, and then the corrective pattern begins from that point there. So the arrival, this is all of the reaction here, then the first high above the level, then the corrective move here. We haven't really seen a strong sort of Santa's run this year coming into Christmas, and you know, it's not that we have to either, and we could certainly be looking at sort of a bearish Christmas here for this market. But let's just drill into the intraday. I don't think the 4-hour chart's going to give us much, but I'll just go to the hourly chart here. So there is a little change that I've made here. This green wave 4 I had as a sort of a grayed out wave 4 here, but this is sort of how I'm looking at the count. So we're still looking at this as a wave 4 here, and then moving up into the 6-1 area through here. It's normally when you're counting, to move up through here, normally the top here, well, there's, markets mirror each other. So if there's a move that's come down, for example, that's had a correction here and then come down here and had a correction here as such, then those areas become, you know, really important each time, because there's a lot of volume turned over there, so there's going to be some attention. So when the market moves back up, it's going to reflect that they're the resistance sort of areas here. So normally we find the top here in line with wave 3 here, so that's one of the reasons I've got wave 3 here, then wave 4 and wave 5 here. Of course, we can use the levels as well within all of this. So just going into the tick chart here. So this low here is a little bit contentious as well. I would, you know, if I looked at this normally, I would put this wave C on this low here, but the cash market, the physical market, physical market's got it like this, so I'm going to go like this here, but we may need to get an extra wave out of this up into this top area here, so I'll just remember that here. So in this market it could be wave 1 here and wave 2, but I'm going to go with the physical market, the cash market. So this is on this low here, and we're looking at this as wave 1 and 2 here, and we're still looking for, as I mentioned as well, wave 3 will come in close to the top here, so that's why I've got this wave 3 here, and this wave 4 can come back into this space here. So we're not sort of done and dusted at this point with this move to the upside here, and nor in the US as well. This is a bit of a contention here, of course, because we've also got not only that support here and that high here, we've also got the 61.8%. So you can see that for whatever reasons, it's already like destiny is already sort of preordained in this particular instance here when you look at it. So there's much more understanding to be had about how markets work. But as you can see, here's a couple of important points here. One of them is the 50 and the 60% retracement level. Yes, we'd expect it to have problems through this price point here. All these little open and closes here, they're always a dead giveaway when they start all vibrating together and get stuck there in terms of time. But we're starting to see the 61.8% hasn't found support yet at the 61.8%. It has in a little tiny way on the close, but you know, it hasn't really found it. But the other main point here is group 1 of 6,000 in this case, subgroup 1, so 10, 20 and 30 here. It's, you know, it has got one test here, but support on top of group 1 sets the target at the next level, which is the midpoint here, which is the 50, and we know that that's going to give us a little corrective pattern as well here, don't we? 5 being the second strongest number in the market, and then of course we're, you know, banging our heads on the beginning of group 2 here. So yeah, look, they're going to give us little corrective pauses, but the trend should still be to the upside. I would only turn bearish in this market. I mean, normally I'd say I'd turn bearish in this market if 6,000 became the retested resistance. But because we've moved up here now, what we can do is use group 1, so 1, 2 and 3 here. If the pivot here, number 2 here, becomes the retested resistance, then we'll be in a bearish mode from that point there. But of course, we don't go on the first spike of something coming down. We need to make sure that it's retested and then failed at that point. But all in all, we should see these markets move up. And, you know, with the US markets and the European markets, I can still see them moving up. And I can see that the banks, you know, Citis, Morgans and so on, they also are in their fourth waves as well here, and they need to push up a little bit higher as well. Okay, I'll leave it at that. Thanks for tuning in. And the Christmas thing is basically the videos are going to stop on the Wednesday, and the all the charts of the Forex and the S&P 500 and the DAX, they're all going to go through normally through Christmas, except for Christmas Day and Boxing Day and those sort of things, but they will just keep continuing through through the right through. But the videos won't come back until late January. I do need a bit of a break, and I do need to do some work on the website as well. it's a bit difficult being a bit of a one-man band. The trades, the ASX trades, the New York trades, and the London trades, they will continue through as well. They may be a little bit light on. I'm not going to do a total focus on them, but I don't want to miss anything either. So we need to turn our portfolios around from being bullish to bearish. I've kind of started that, and keeping the US and the UK very sort of light on their toes coming into these tops, and we'll be doing that with this market as well. But I don't particularly want to change trend unless I've got the evidence to do that. I can lessen things and manage the risk as such, but sort of pulsate with the perspective of things. But we're certainly not in a bearish position just yet. All right, cheers.